So Sodexo is a multinational corporation that Pitt is hired to provide food service to the university campus. SEIU is currently in contract negotiations for the Sodexo employees in Sutherland and Towers cafeterias. We're also engaged in an organizing drive for all the other non-union, unrepresented employees on campus. A little over half of the Sodexo employees at Pitt are unionized. Unionized workers hired after the year 2000 pay more than $1,100 per month for family health insurance. Obviously most choose not to take it because it's a very large percentage of what they earn in a month. As a result of this, these workers' families are forced to rely on public programs to provide for their family's health insurance. The other half of the Sodexo workers on campus are fighting for the chance to choose to join a union free from intimidation and coercion. Many of these workers report that they do not receive annual wage increases that keep pace with the rising cost of living, and also do not have access to affordable family health care coverage. Non-union Sodexo workers have recently filed charges with the National Labor Relations Board. They're investing allegations that Sodexo interrogated a worker about his union activity. They've told workers that in their efforts to organize with the union would be futile. They've threatened to more strictly enforce company rules if the union becomes the collective bargaining representative. They've threatened to eliminate certain workplace privileges if the union becomes the collective bargaining representatives. And they've told a worker that he is not allowed to attend a union meeting and threatened to discipline him for attending that meeting. You'll be hearing from both union and non-union Sodexo workers this evening to speak to these facts. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about Sodexo. In 2008, Sodexo earned over $1 billion from revenues of $20 billion. Recently in bargaining, they told us that is only a small percentage, and they felt like that wasn't really enough. They didn't really feel like they earned enough out of $20 billion. They're also one of the largest food service and facilities management companies in the world. They have 300,000 workers, employees in more than 80 countries. Sodexo does have the ability to provide family-sustaining wages and affordable family health coverage to their employees. Hardworking employees of a company as wealthy as Sodexo should not have to rely on taxpayer subsidies to get by. So, as a result of this, SEIU over the last year has started a campaign called Clean Up Sodexo to shed a new light on how people think about Sodexo. Sodexo dedicates tremendous energy seeking to portray itself as a socially responsible company that employs a diverse workforce and is working to, quote, break the cycle of poverty. Sodexo has a large public relations budget and a robust corporate social responsibility campaign. Sodexo seeks to generate publicity that protects its brand from any news stories or accusations that would be counter to the image it seeks to project. But talking to Sodexo workers across the United States, we've learned the truth. The, quote, cycle of poverty that Sodexo claims it wants to end starts with a job at Sodexo. Nationally, Sodexo workers make as little as $8.27 per hour. Many Sodexo employees are not offered full-time work, and at some locations, such as universities like this and school districts, they're essentially laid off in the summertime. Workers are forced to either rely on unemployment benefits or scramble to find temporary second jobs in the summertime. Sodexo's commitment to health and well-being stops when its workforce does not have access to affordable health care. Sodexo's effort to build leadership for diversity and inclusion, quote, fails when, even after thousands of black employees are forced to file a race-biased suit that eventually settled for over $80 million, lawsuits alleging unfair treatment continue to be filed. For too long, the workers that make Sodexo's profits possible have witnessed Sodexo's practices of promoting one thing to the public and doing something else to its workers. Clean Up Sodexo's goal is to demonstrate to Sodexo workers, the community, and the company itself that Sodexo needs to spend far less time talking about ideals and more time listening to its workers and practicing what it preaches. A leading European rating agency that scores companies for their social responsibility and fair treatment of workers has downgraded Sodexo from a score of average to negative recently. The downgrade came in response to the company's performance in the areas of prevention of human rights violations, and in particular, the question of respect for union rights and the rights to collectively bargain. The company's clients include some of the largest institutional investors in Europe. In the past, Sodexo has relied on a positive score from them to paint themselves as a progressive company, and with a strong record for corporate responsibility, social responsibility. News like this shows how when we speak with one voice, the world will listen to us. So I'd like to turn it over to some of the workers.